Some beaches aren't made for swimming. From sharks to toxic sand, these spots hide danger just beneath the surface. New Smyrna Beach. No place on Earth has recorded more unprovoked shark bites. It's not just a spooky nickname, it's backed by decades of stats. The warm Atlantic waters, teeming with baitfish, create a buffet that draws in predators like blacktips, spinners, and the occasional bull shark. These waters are alive with movement, and not all of it friendly. So why here? The answer lies in geography and behavior. The nearby Ponce de Leon Inlet funnels fish through a narrow opening, concentrating prey and, unintentionally, surfers, swimmers, and sharks into the same stretch of sea. Most of the time, bites aren't massive attacks. They're quick, defensive snaps. Sharks mistake feet or hands for food in the churned-up surf and pull away once they realize the error. Still, it's a place where surfers share the water with apex predators, often just a few feet apart. Despite the risk, the beach remains packed. Locals are used to the warnings. Some treat it like a quirk of the town, almost like how people from Roswell joke about aliens. Even lifeguards admit that shark sightings are so common, they don't always clear the beach. They just watch and hope. In recent years, drone footage has captured schools of sharks swimming alarmingly close to the shoreline, weaving between swimmers and surfers who have no idea what's around them. Yet, strangely, the danger hasn't scared people off. If anything, it adds to the allure. It's a thrill, a brush with nature that's raw, real, and unpredictable. Still, every swimmer is taking a chance here. Step into these waters and you're entering one of the ocean's busiest hunting grounds. Whether you're chasing waves or just wading in the surf, New Smyrna Beach offers a tropical paradise with teeth. Travel far from Florida's shark-infested waves and land on the northern coast of Australia, where another kind of menace waits at the water's edge. Kissing Point in Townsville doesn't look like a place to be cautious of. With calm blue water and a popular promenade nearby, it seems as safe and ordinary as any family beach spot. But recent years have turned this peaceful shore into the center of something medical teams quietly dread. Cases of aggressive flesh-eating bacteria known scientifically as necrotizing fasciitis. Locals say it starts like a rash or a sting. Swimmers wade into the warm shallows, often with a minor scratch or cut from the rocks. Within hours, swelling, redness, and heat follow. What seems like a mild infection can spiral fast. While rare, reports have documented cases linked to coastal waters near Kissing Point and other tropical beaches with similar heat, salinity, and organic matter. Scientists believe the bacteria thrive in a mix of high sea temperatures and nutrient-rich water, conditions that are becoming more common with longer summers and more runoff from land. This isn't the kind of risk you can see coming. No fins slicing the surface, no movement in the waves. It's invisible, microscopic, and potentially devastating if left untreated. Townsville authorities now regularly post health notices during peak heat, and medical staff stay alert for symptoms during the warmer months. Swimmers have started taking extra precautions, avoiding shallow water with open cuts or sticking to the pool. Yet the beach remains popular, drawing crowds who either haven't heard the warnings or think the odds are too small to matter. Despite the beauty of the shoreline, Kissing Point carries a risk that doesn't announce itself with dramatic splashes or sudden movements. It waits quietly, buried in water that looks perfectly safe. The next danger, however, does come with a warning. One you'll find posted in bold letters on beaches across northern Australia. Step into the ocean just a little farther north, and the danger becomes even more difficult to detect. Queensland's beaches are home to some of the most picture-perfect scenes in the country. Palm-lined coasts, shallow turquoise water, soft sand stretching endlessly. But beneath this postcard view drifts one of the most venomous sea creatures on the planet, the box jellyfish. They don't chase, they don't roar, and they don't even look like much, just a translucent shape suspended in the surf. Yet a brush against their tentacles can unleash venom powerful enough to paralyze muscles, stop the heart, or send the victim into shock. These jellyfish, particularly the infamous Chironex fleckeri, are responsible for more medical emergencies in tropical Australia than almost any other marine animal. What makes them even more terrifying is their near invisibility. You could be waist deep in water and never see what's floating near your leg. Stinger nets and warning signs have become part of the beach scenery here, especially during the high-risk season from October to May. Locals know not to swim without protective suits in certain areas. Tour operators hand out instructions and vinegar bottles for first aid, and lifeguards remain vigilant even on the quietest days. But every season, the jellyfish return, and despite all the precautions, people still get stung. Researchers are constantly tracking their behavior, but there's still much we don't fully understand. What we do know is that warmer seas have expanded their range over time. Beaches that were once considered low risk are now seeing stings. It's a slow shift, but one that's making parts of Queensland's coast less predictable and more dangerous with every passing year. If paradise had a warning label, it would be stamped across the shores of Bikini Atoll. Turquoise lagoons, coral reefs, and coconut-lined islands make this Pacific destination look like a travel magazine cover. But this idyllic ring of islets hides a history so volatile, the sand itself has been studied by nuclear scientists for decades. Between the late 1940s and 1950s, the United States conducted 23 nuclear tests here, including the massive Castle Bravo detonation. The explosions vaporized reef sections, carved out new craters, and turned the ocean into boiling chaos. The fallout blanketed not just the atoll, but areas hundreds of miles away. Though the last test took place long ago, the traces remain. Radioactive elements still linger in the soil, the vegetation, and even the fish. In recent years, drone teams and radiation monitoring missions have revisited Bikini. Their goal to measure how much the island has changed. Some areas now read within acceptable limits for short visits, but long-term habitation is still out of the question. The coconut crabs, for instance, prized as local delicacies, are still too radioactive to eat. Oddly enough, this danger has given Bikini a strange kind of second life. Divers are drawn to the ship graveyard beneath the lagoon, where sunken warships, submarines, and aircraft carriers sit silently in the blue. It's become a ghostly underwater museum, one that few would dare to touch. And while it might look like paradise, you can't walk these beaches without remembering what happened here. Bikini Atoll stands as a reminder of how even the most peaceful-looking places can carry the echoes of the most violent experiments in human history. The sand is quiet now, the water calm, but something still hums beneath the surface. Welcome to the United Kingdom's most deceptively dangerous beach. Morecambe Bay stretches out wide and flat, often covered in thick sea mist that turns the landscape into a hazy, gray desert. The tide here retreats so far, the beach looks like it could go on forever. But step too far from the shoreline and the ground might swallow you whole. This isn't just a figure of speech. The bay is notorious for quicksand. Wet, shifting mudflats that look solid but collapse under your weight. Walkers and even vehicles have been caught off guard, their paths vanishing in minutes. Add to that one of the fastest incoming tides in Britain, and you've got a trap that feels engineered by nature itself. Local guides, known as sand pilots, have led safe crossings for years, but even they tread with extreme caution. GPS apps and modern maps won't help much here. Channels shift with the tide. The ground changes daily. What was firm yesterday might be fatal today. What makes Morecambe Bay even more unsettling is its silence. There are no sharp cliffs or crashing waves to signal danger. Just soft winds, flat sands, and an illusion of safety that's lured in many who didn't make it back. It's a beach where the risk doesn't roar, it whispers, pulls, and vanishes. Though coastal rescue teams remain on standby, they constantly warn visitors don't cross alone. Don't chase the tide, and whatever you do, don't trust the sand. This beach proves that the most terrifying places don't need monsters or storms. Sometimes all it takes is a quiet step in the wrong direction. About 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo lies a small, uninhabited island that even the Brazilian Navy avoids without strict clearance. It's called Ilha da Queimada Grande, but most know it by a far more fitting name, Snake Island. And it's exactly what it sounds like. This jungle-covered rock is home to the golden lancehead viper, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. Unlike their mainland cousins, these snakes have evolved to be faster, deadlier, and more aggressive. Why? With no natural predators and birds as their only prey, their venom became extra potent to kill fast, before the birds could fly away. Step onto the island, and you're entering a place where estimates suggest there may be one snake per square meter. That's no urban legend, it's backed by decades of biological research. No beach picnic here, no diving, no sunbathing. The lighthouse on the island has long since been abandoned, and stories from the past, some verified, some local myth, only add to its mystery. One tale involves a family of lighthouse keepers who lived there in the early 20th century and were allegedly bitten while trying to flee by boat after snakes slipped in through open windows. Whether true or not, the message is clear: stay away. Even scientists who study the snakes do so in full protective gear and never alone. The golden lanceheads are so unique they've become a focus for anti-venom research. In a strange twist, their danger might one day help save lives. Snake Island isn't large, flashy, or surrounded by dramatic cliffs. It's a simple patch of rainforest and sand that looks calm from a distance. But it might be the most dangerous stretch of beach no one's ever set foot on. And that's exactly how it should stay. They're small, bright blue, and look more like sea glass than sea creatures. But when thousands of these floating discs wash up on shores, they transform a peaceful beach into a bizarre alien landscape. Meet the blue button jellyfish, Porpita porpita, the strange and stinging visitors invading beaches across the Indian Ocean. Despite their name, they're not true jellyfish, but colonial organisms made up of multiple parts working together. Still, they come with the same nasty sting. Not deadly, but painful and irritating enough to ruin your day in the surf. When the wind and current align just right, beaches in India, Sri Lanka, and even Western Australia get blanketed in these bright blue creatures. You'll find them tangled in seaweed, stuck to sandals and dotting the shore like glowing coins. Recently, viral photos have shown entire coastlines covered in them, almost like something out of a sci-fi film. Think Stranger Things, but with stings. Tourists are often caught off guard, lured in by the beauty of their translucent bodies and electric color. One gentle touch, though, and it's a sharp surprise. Local beach patrols now issue alerts during seasonal blooms. They recommend avoiding contact and wearing protective swimwear when jellyfish are expected. Scientists link their rising numbers to warmer oceans and shifting wind patterns, another ripple effect of our changing climate. Unlike box jellyfish, blue buttons don't sneak up on swimmers. When they come in swarms, turning white sand beaches into shimmering blue minefields. Not lethal, but definitely unpleasant. Beautiful and alien. A reminder that even the smallest creatures can make a big impact, especially when they arrive by the thousands. Palm trees sway, turquoise waves break in perfect rhythm, and the sun lights up the Indian Ocean like glass. On the surface, Reunion Island is a surfer's paradise. Remote, raw, and stunning. But if you follow the headlines, another name emerges the most dangerous surfing destination on Earth. Over the past decade, Reunion has seen a string of shark attacks that rattled the global surfing community. We're not talking about occasional sightings. This small island has recorded more attacks per capita than almost anywhere else in the world. And many of those happened in waist-deep water, close to the beach in broad daylight. So what's going on? The short answer: location, food supply, and a changing ecosystem. The island sits near deep underwater drop-offs, creating ideal hunting grounds for tiger sharks and bull sharks. Increased fishing restrictions in nearby waters may have also drawn more predators closer to shore. Combine that with plenty of surfers and swimmers and you've got the perfect storm. Surfing was even banned in some areas for years, and military patrols with spotters became a common sight. New safety programs now include shark-detecting drones, sonar nets, and public awareness campaigns. It's helped reduce incidents, but the tension still lingers. Local surfers say they're always aware. Some even bless the water before they paddle out. There's respect, and a bit of fear, every time a wave is caught. For them, it's about balance. The ocean gives, the ocean takes. And on Reunion Island, it might do both before lunch. It's wild to think a place so beautiful could be so risky. But maybe that's the truth of many dangerous beaches. The threat isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's floating just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise. There's a stretch of coastline in Namibia that doesn't welcome visitors. It warns them. Even its name sounds like something from a horror movie, The Skeleton Coast. Here, the Atlantic Ocean crashes into desert sands with relentless force, and the result is one of the eeriest places on the planet. Hundreds of shipwrecks lie scattered along this coast. Wooden ribs, rusting hulls, and broken masts litter the sand, like bones from a forgotten battle. Some are barely recognizable, half buried in dunes. Others still stand, defiant against time and wind. Sailors once called this the gates of hell. Fog, strong currents, and unpredictable winds made navigation a nightmare. If your ship ran aground here, survival was unlikely. Not just because of the wreck, but because what came after was worse. Inland, you face the Namib Desert. There's no fresh water, no food. Just vast nothingness, searing heat by day, freezing cold by night. Survivors of shipwrecks who tried to make it out on foot often didn't. Bones, both animal and human, have been found over the years, a quiet reminder of how unforgiving this place really is. And yet, the skeleton coast isn't lifeless. Seals gather in noisy colonies along the rocks. Desert lions, rare and specially adapted, patrol the inland dunes. Hyenas, jackals, and even elephants have been spotted crossing the sands, shaped by centuries of survival in brutal conditions. Tourists do visit, but access is tightly controlled. Permits are required and guides are essential. It's not a place to explore casually. The air feels different here, heavy, ancient, like the land is watching. You won't hear bustling crowds or beach umbrellas snapping in the breeze. Just wind, waves, and silence, broken only by the distant creak of a decaying ship. It's one of the most hauntingly beautiful places on Earth, a coastline that's eaten more dreams than it's shared. On Skeleton Coast, the beach doesn't end in paradise. It ends in memory. Fraser Island, now officially renamed Kagari, is the largest sand island in the world, about 75 miles long and made entirely of ancient, compacted sand. It's a wonderland of freshwater lakes, towering dunes, and dense rainforest growing right out of the ground. But don't let its beauty fool you. The sand here can turn dangerous fast. The beach acts like a highway. Vehicles speed along 75-mile beach, dodging crashing waves on one side and steep drop-offs on the other. The sand looks firm, but change the tide or weather just slightly, and it can suddenly suck in tires or feet like a trap. Tourists with 4x4s often get stuck in what locals call sugar sand, light, powdery patches that grip like glue. Beyond the tricky driving, Fraser has another sharp edge, literally. Erosion exposes jagged, compacted layers of sand that can slice feet and legs if you fall wrong or walk barefoot over certain sections. And it's not just the terrain. Marine stingers, including irukandji jellyfish, are sometimes found in the surrounding waters. Stonefish, camouflaged and venomous, lurk beneath shallow waves. But perhaps the most unexpected threat? Dingoes. These wild dogs look like domestic pets but have been known to act aggressively, especially when tourists feed them or leave food unattended. There are clear rules across the island now: don't feed the dingoes, and never walk alone at dawn or dusk. Despite all of this, Fraser remains a beloved destination. Its lakes are crystal clear, its forests surreal, and the beaches stretch farther than the eye can see. For those who come prepared, it's unforgettable. But take one careless step, and this paradise might turn prickly. The sand may be soft in some places, but in others it cuts. Tucked into the far northeast of Queensland, Cape Tribulation looks like the kind of place a travel agency would feature on a calendar. Thick rainforest, bright beaches, warm shallows, and towering palm trees. But if nature has a sense of humor, this is where it hides the punchline. Everything here from land to sea seems designed to challenge your survival instincts. Step into the water? Better be careful. Box jellyfish and irukandji. Jellyfish can both be present depending on the season. Their stings are no joke. So painful and potentially dangerous that swimming without a stinger suit is asking for trouble. And don't even think about wading near river mouths or murky creeks. Saltwater crocodiles patrol these areas, and while attacks are rare, they're not unheard of. These ancient predators can launch from the water in seconds. Staying on land isn't exactly relaxing either. The rainforest is home to one of the planet's most intimidating birds, the cassowary. It's colorful, tall, and equipped with dagger-like claws that could belong in a raptor movie. They're not aggressive by default, but if they feel threatened, especially while protecting chicks, they'll charge. Fast. Even the insects here play rough. Green ants bite, leeches cling, and mosquitoes carry tropical bugs that no one wants to bring home. The dense humidity adds an extra challenge, making every walk feel like you're breathing through soup. And while the beach might look inviting, the sharp shift from jungle to shore means you're never quite sure what's hiding in the brush. Yet despite all of this, Cape Tribulation is unforgettable. It's where two UNESCO World Heritage Sites meet the Daintree Rainforest and the Great Barrier Reef. It's raw, wild, and absolutely stunning. People don't come here for 5-star resorts or lazy beach days. They come for the thrill. The chance to see nature untouched, unpredictable, and a little bit dangerous. Cape Tribulation is beautiful, but it doesn't play nice. It's the kind of place where you respect the wild, or the wild reminds you why you should have. There's Hot, and then there's Dallol. Located in Ethiopia's Danakil Depression, one of the hottest places on Earth, this beach doesn't meet an ocean. Instead, it bubbles with acid, salt, steam, and toxic gas. It's a place so surreal, it looks like a fantasy world, but one you probably shouldn't step foot in. The land here is constantly reshaping itself. Pools of acidic water sizzle across the cracked crust. Sulfur formations glow yellow and green under the sun. Gas seeps from vents with the smell of rotten eggs, and the surface can crumble without warning. You won't find beachgoers, umbrellas, or even animals here. Just scientists in protective gear, and sometimes daring tourists on the edge of the alien. What's especially strange is how beautiful it all looks. The colors are stunning. The terrain almost sparkles in places. But get too close, and the beauty fades behind danger. The brine pools can reach boiling temperatures. One misstep and you could end up in water that eats through skin and metal. This beach isn't for swimming. It's a living chemistry lab powered by volcanic fury. Though not by the sea, it's still a beach in its own wild way. Wind carries grains of salt instead of sand. The landscape pulses with heat. It's one of the most extreme environments ever recorded, and that makes it one of the most fascinating. Where fire meets water, you get something spectacular. On Hawaii's Big Island, near the slopes of the mighty Kilauea volcano, black sand beaches stretch along the coast like ribbons of ash. They're formed instantly when molten lava crashes into ocean waves and explodes into fragments. It's beautiful, it's rare, and it can be deadly. The sand here isn't soft, it's glassy, gritty, and often so hot it burns bare feet. But that's just the start. Kilauea is still active, and new lava flows can reach the water at any time. In recent years, entire sections of coastline have vanished or been remade overnight. The ground trembles, steam hisses from cracks, and locals keep an ear out for alerts. These aren't your typical day-at-the-beach conditions. The ocean, too, turns against you here. Where lava enters, the water boils, sending up clouds of hydrochloric acid mist and shards of volcanic glass. Swimmers are warned to keep their distance, no matter how mesmerizing the view may be. And yet people still flock to these beaches, drawn to the drama of nature at full power. There's something magnetic about this coastline. It's not the most comfortable place, but it might be the most unforgettable. Standing here, you don't just see Earth's power, you feel it.
Hidden deep inside the Amazon rainforest lies one of Earth's most mysterious and isolated regions, the Vale do Javari. Stretching across the dense jungle in western Brazil, this territory is home to the highest concentration of uncontacted tribes on the planet. Protected by vast rivers, towering trees, and impenetrable vegetation, these tribes live completely apart from the modern world, guarding secrets humanity has yet to uncover. Vale do Javari isn't easy to explore. Dense jungle canopies cover more than 32,000 square miles of wilderness, an area almost as large as Portugal. No roads cross this territory, and access is strictly controlled by the Brazilian government to protect the indigenous tribes that have thrived here for thousands of years. Only a handful of outsiders have ever glimpsed these isolated communities, and the few photographs that exist show villages untouched by modern life, where huts are made from palm leaves and life revolves around the forest. Scientists believe at least 14 distinct indigenous tribes live here, with several completely uncontacted and unknown to the outside world. These tribes survive solely on hunting, fishing, and gathering wild plants. They speak languages never documented by researchers, and their customs remain a complete mystery. Each year, small aircraft surveys occasionally spot tribespeople living in thatched huts, gathering around communal fires, or fishing along quiet rivers. Explorers who've dared to approach this hidden land have returned with remarkable stories of biodiversity. Jaguars, giant otters, and elusive harpy eagles share this space with countless undiscovered species. Biologists estimate hundreds of animal and plant species remain unidentified within Vale do Javari, waiting quietly beneath the endless green to reveal their secrets. Yet, the deeper you go into the jungle, the stranger things become. Some expeditions report odd occurrences such as unexplainable noises echoing through the night and sightings of unusual lights deep within the forest. Although skeptics dismiss these accounts as nothing more than jungle folklore, others whisper of ancient civilizations hidden beneath the trees or even remnants of cities swallowed long ago by the rainforest. Far to the north of Vale do Javari, hidden in the dense jungles separating Colombia and Panama, lies another region that defies exploration, the Darien Gap. This vast expanse of tangled rainforest covers over 100 miles of untouched terrain, a natural barrier preventing the connection of North and South America by road. Despite numerous attempts, no road has ever successfully crossed this wild territory, leaving it as one of the last truly unexplored frontiers on Earth. Explorers who have entered the Darien speak of a place so remote that even maps can't fully depict its mysteries. Within its thick vegetation and muddy swamps dwell rare wildlife like jaguars, poison dart frogs, and the elusive harpy eagle. But nature isn't the only danger lurking beneath the canopy. Some travelers claim that hidden within this dense jungle are remnants of ancient civilizations, waiting to reveal stories of a lost history. Local legends tell of forgotten paths, stone ruins swallowed by vegetation, and even unexplained disappearances of those who venture too deep. Whether driven by superstition or genuine peril, few dare to challenge this tropical maze. The Darien Gap remains a place of secrets, defiant against human conquest. Yet not all unexplored places hide within lush jungles. Thousands of miles north, a radically different landscape offers an equally intriguing mystery. Devon Island, situated deep within Canada's Arctic archipelago, looks more like Mars than Earth. As the world's largest uninhabited island, its barren rocky surface has attracted NASA scientists who use it as a stand-in for the Red Planet. Its freezing temperatures, rugged cliffs, and ancient craters closely mirror conditions found on Mars, making it the ideal testing ground for future space missions. Visitors describe Devon Island as otherworldly, a place devoid of trees, animals, or permanent inhabitants. But beneath its harsh exterior, Devon Island conceals fascinating secrets of its own. Some speculate the island might hold clues to understanding life beyond our planet, preserved deep within its frozen soil. Occasional reports of mysterious radio signals detected near the island fuel whispers of extraterrestrial intrigue, though skeptics dismiss these claims as mere atmospheric anomalies. Whether the truth lies in science or something stranger, Devon Island continues to attract those who seek the unknown, forever linking Earth with the mysteries of distant worlds. While some explorers look upward to space, others turn downward, beneath our feet. Far south of Devon Island's icy plains lies Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, home to one of Earth's most extraordinary subterranean worlds, the cenotes. These natural sinkholes, formed by collapsed limestone bedrock, create openings into an underground labyrinth of caves and crystal-clear waters. For the ancient Mayan civilization, cenotes were sacred portals to another realm, gateways where rituals took place to appease the gods. Today, divers venture into these submerged caves to discover breathtaking chambers filled with stalactites, stalagmites, and hidden passageways that stretch for miles beneath the jungle. But beyond their beauty lies a darker side. Explorers occasionally uncover artifacts, human bones, and ritual offerings hidden underwater for centuries. Stories circulate about cenotes harboring secret tunnels that connect to hidden temples deep beneath the surface, sparking theories about undiscovered ancient sites awaiting exploration. Some even whisper of supernatural occurrences, lights seen beneath the water, strange echoes in empty chambers, and sensations of being watched during deep dives. Whether these stories are legends or hints of something deeper, the cenotes remain mysterious portals into Mexico's forgotten history. Leaving behind the shadowy cenotes of Yucatan, we journey across the Pacific to a land that seems endless, barren, and completely alien, the Simpson Desert, Australia's vast sea of sand. Covering nearly 70,000 square miles of central Australia, this is one of the most isolated and least explored deserts on Earth. Massive, wind-sculpted dunes stretch to the horizon, some towering over 130 feet tall, shifting silently as though the desert itself were alive. Despite its harshness, the Simpson Desert harbors hidden secrets beneath its sands. Strange and delicate ecosystems flourish here, home to creatures adapted to extreme heat, intense sun, and scarcity of water. Thorny devils, hopping mice, and even elusive desert reptiles survive where humans rarely venture. Explorers who've dared to cross these sands recount stories of eerie silence, disorienting heat mirages, and unsettling nighttime encounters with sounds echoing from nowhere. Aboriginal legends speak of mysterious places hidden deep within the dunes, known only to elders, guarded carefully by generations. There are even whispered tales of lost expeditions whose remains have never surfaced, swallowed by the ever-moving sands. Today, much of this Australian wilderness remains untouched, resisting human exploration as one of the planet's last true deserts, an endless sea of mystery that continues to fascinate, allure, and guard its secrets carefully. Far from the blazing heat of Australia's deserts lies another unexplored realm, this time submerged deep beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench plunges deeper into darkness than any other point on Earth, reaching its maximum depth at a staggering 36,000 feet in Challenger Deep. To put this into perspective, You could submerge Mount Everest and still have more than a mile of ocean above it. This mysterious abyss has barely been visited by humans. Fewer people have descended into Challenger Deep than have stepped onto the surface of the moon. And what they found there stunned even the most experienced explorers. Bizarre, translucent creatures, bioluminescent jellyfish illuminating the darkness, and ecosystems thriving under pressures that would crush steel like paper. However, the Mariana Trench still holds far greater mysteries. Scientists believe unknown species live deeper than our submersibles can reach, in an environment so alien that it challenges our understanding of life's possibilities. Unexplained underwater sounds have been recorded echoing from the trench's depths, fueling speculation about undiscovered life forms or geological phenomena. Despite advancements in deep-sea exploration, the Mariana Trench remains one of Earth's greatest enigmas, hiding worlds beneath its crushing pressures and eternal darkness. Emerging from the depths of the ocean, we ascend toward the sky, to Mount Roraima, a towering mountain unlike any other on Earth. Located at the borders of Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, Mount Roraima rises dramatically from surrounding forests as an enormous tabletop mountain, its summit reaching over 9,200 feet high. Its vertical cliffs, shrouded in mist, have made it seem inaccessible for centuries. When explorers finally scaled it, they discovered a lost world seemingly untouched by time. Unique plant and animal species found nowhere else on Earth flourish on its isolated plateau. Carnivorous pitcher plants, tiny black frogs, and bizarre rock formations make the mountaintop appear alien, almost prehistoric. Indigenous legends add to Roraima's mystique, describing it as the birthplace of humanity and a place inhabited by spirits. Even today, stories persist of unexplained occurrences atop the mountain. Sudden disappearances, inexplicable lights hovering near cliffs, and unsettling sounds that echo through the plateau's foggy chambers. Adventurers have speculated that beneath Roraima's surface might lie hidden tunnels or chambers left by ancient civilizations. Its otherworldly appearance even inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's classic novel, The Lost World, reflecting its aura of timeless mystery. Mount Roraima is not merely a geological wonder, it remains a place of enduring fascination, resisting our understanding and continuing to evoke awe and intrigue as one of the planet's greatest natural mysteries. Far from the lofty cliffs of Roraima, hidden deep within the jungles of central Vietnam, lies one of Earth's most incredible secrets, Sun Doong Cave. Discovered only in 1991 and fully explored decades later, Sun Doong is now known as the largest cave on the planet. Stretching more than 3 miles long and over 600 feet high in some chambers, it's big enough to hold entire skyscrapers within its darkened halls. But size alone doesn't capture its wonder. This cave is truly a hidden world. Inside its vast chambers, explorers have uncovered entire forests thriving beneath openings where sunlight filters through, creating a surreal, otherworldly landscape. Unique wildlife like albino insects, blind cave fish, and rare bats have evolved here, perfectly adapted to eternal twilight. Many areas of Sun Doong remain unexplored, leaving the possibility of undiscovered species and ecosystems. Local legends add to its mystery, telling stories of spirits and hidden treasures buried deep within its caverns. Explorers continue to push deeper into Sun Doong, uncovering new tunnels and passageways each year, expanding the limits of what we know about this hidden subterranean world. Sun Doong isn't just a cave, it's an undiscovered kingdom beneath the earth, waiting quietly in darkness. From a hidden realm beneath Vietnam's jungle, we travel to an island so remote and untouched, it defies modern exploration entirely. North Sentinel Island, located in the Indian Ocean, is perhaps the most isolated inhabited place on Earth. Surrounded by treacherous reefs and dense tropical forests, this island is fiercely protected by its inhabitants, the Sentinelese tribe, who have lived completely disconnected from the outside world for thousands of years. Attempts to explore the island or communicate with the Sentinelese have ended abruptly, as they aggressively defend their territory from outsiders. The island itself is shrouded in mystery. Only a few aerial photos and distant glimpses offer insight into their daily lives, revealing simple huts, fishing along the shores, and a community utterly unaltered by modern civilization. Due to this strict isolation, wild stories and theories about the island abound. Some speculate that the Sentinelese guard ancient artifacts or secrets left by lost civilizations. Others imagine North Sentinel Island as a living window into humanity's distant past, a society frozen in time. Today, the Indian government prohibits any approach to the island, preserving its secrets and respecting the tribe's desire to remain untouched. North Sentinel Island remains one of the last truly unexplored places on our planet, a forbidden land full of unanswered questions. Yet not all secrets hide in dense jungles or isolated islands. Far away in southern Chile, amid the cold silence of Patagonia, lies an unexplored wilderness of ice, the northern Patagonian icefield. Covering more than 1,600 square miles, it's one of Earth's largest ice expanses outside the polar regions, a frozen maze of glaciers, icy peaks, and deep crevasses. Explorers rarely penetrate this labyrinth, as unpredictable weather, relentless storms, and sheer inaccessibility guard it fiercely. Beneath the endless expanse of ice, untouched caves and hidden valleys lie concealed, some believed to hold clues to Earth's distant past preserved perfectly in the ice. Scientists speculate that deep within the glacier cores, frozen remnants of ancient life could rewrite our understanding of the planet's climate history. Yet the region also draws tales of the strange and unexplained. Reports from rare expeditions speak of mysterious sounds, sudden temperature changes, and ghostly lights dancing across the ice at night, inspiring local legends of spirits haunting the glaciers. Despite increasing interest, much of Patagonia's northern icefield remains unknown territory. Its glaciers retreat and advance like a living entity, protecting secrets humanity has yet to uncover. Here, exploration is not only challenging but thrilling, each new expedition revealing glimpses of a frozen frontier, hiding quietly at the edge of the world. Leaving behind Patagonia's icy mysteries, our journey now plunges beneath warm Caribbean waters into one of Earth's most captivating yet unsettling underwater realms, the blue holes of the Bahamas. These perfectly circular sapphire pools scattered across shallow turquoise seas and lush islands conceal entrances to a submerged world unlike anywhere else on Earth. Formed thousands of years ago by collapsed limestone, these underwater caves descend hundreds of feet into darkness, creating natural portals to an unexplored abyss. Divers describe the experience of entering these sinkholes as surreal, floating through crystal-clear waters before descending into shadowy passages, illuminated only by narrow beams of sunlight. Yet beyond their eerie beauty, these blue holes harbor ancient secrets. Archaeologists have uncovered hidden treasures inside, from prehistoric animal bones to human remains, and artifacts left behind by the indigenous Lucayan people, who believed these underwater caverns were gateways to the underworld. But it's not only history lurking below. Modern explorers recount strange experiences, hearing unexplained sounds deep beneath the surface, seeing flickering lights in otherwise dark caverns, and even feeling sudden temperature drops as if something unknown inhabits the depths. The blue holes remain mostly unmapped, enticing adventurers deeper and deeper into their submerged labyrinths, always hinting at secrets lying just beyond reach. From the warm Caribbean waters, we now travel northward to one of the most isolated and least explored places on Earth, Russia's Severnaya Zemlya archipelago. Located deep within the Arctic Circle, this cluster of frozen islands was among the last territories on Earth ever discovered, only officially mapped in the early 20th century. Locked in ice and snow year-round, Severnaya Zemlya is a stark wilderness of glaciers, ice-covered mountains, and bleak tundra. Even today, few people have ever set foot on these islands, leaving vast areas completely unexplored. Satellites occasionally capture images revealing gigantic glaciers and frozen valleys, yet countless hidden corners remain unseen by human eyes. Those who have ventured here speak of unsettlingly quiet landscapes and an eerie stillness broken only by the occasional groan of shifting ice. Interestingly, satellite data sometimes reveals unusual formations beneath the thick ice, structures and shapes that fuel speculation and conspiracy theories. Some even suggest remnants of secret Soviet military bases or undisclosed research facilities remain hidden within these icy realms. Though such theories are unproven, Severnaya Zemlya continues to draw curiosity, a remote icy frontier that resists human understanding and exploration, preserving mysteries in its frozen embrace. Descending from Arctic ice, we head southward to Africa, toward an extraordinary secret hidden atop a remote mountain in Mozambique. Mount Lico rises abruptly from the surrounding plains, an isolated peak whose summit remained unexplored until recently. Surrounded on all sides by sheer, almost vertical cliffs hundreds of feet tall, Mount Lico guards a lush rainforest untouched by humans, suspended high above the savanna. Biologists first discovered this hidden world through satellite images astonished to find an entire ecosystem thriving atop this isolated plateau. When scientists finally climbed its cliffs, they discovered species completely new to science: tiny frogs, colorful butterflies, and insects found nowhere else on Earth, all thriving undisturbed in a paradise lost in time. Yet this rainforest holds deeper secrets beyond scientific discoveries. Local legends speak of sacred spirits inhabiting the mountaintop, protecting the forest from intruders. Villagers avoid Mount Lico, warning outsiders about mysterious lights seen flickering on the cliffs at night, and strange voices whispering in the wind. Whether folklore or genuine mystery, these stories add to Mount Lico's mystique. Its untouched jungle remains one of the least known ecosystems on Earth, suspended high above civilization, quietly sheltering secrets humanity is only beginning to unravel. Traveling eastward across Africa's vast landscapes, we now arrive in Asia, where Myanmar's northern forest complex remains one of the last truly wild places left unexplored. Covering thousands of square miles of dense jungle, soaring mountains, and deep valleys, this hidden wilderness has long resisted human intrusion. Few have ventured deep into these forests, and fewer still have returned with stories of what lies within. Scientists know very little about the region, aside from the incredible biodiversity glimpsed at its edges. Tigers roam unseen paths, rare clouded leopards lurk in treetops, and rivers hide freshwater creatures found nowhere else. Many believe that deeper within these jungles, unknown species await discovery, hidden beneath the thick canopy. The area is so remote that satellite imagery provides only vague glimpses of valleys shrouded by dense foliage and mist-covered peaks that rarely see sunlight. Locals tell stories of ancient ruins swallowed by jungle growth, guarded by spirits unwilling to share their secrets. Explorers who ventured inside have sometimes spoken of inexplicable events, strange noises echoing from nowhere, unsettling lights dancing through the forest at night, and trails disappearing suddenly as if the jungle itself had shifted. Myanmar's northern forest complex remains elusive, preserving its mysteries behind walls of green, a living puzzle challenging us to uncover what lies hidden beneath its untouched canopy. From the dense jungles of Myanmar, our journey takes a dramatic turn northward, landing us in the remote waters of the North Atlantic, where Iceland's youngest island, Surtsey, emerges from the sea like a natural experiment. Born from volcanic eruptions between 1963 and 1967, Surtsey is Earth's newest island, untouched by human hands and strictly protected by international laws. Scientists closely monitor the island, watching nature slowly take hold on the barren volcanic rocks. Yet despite being so young, Surtsey already harbors unexpected secrets. New species of plants and insects mysteriously appeared, arriving on wind, ocean currents, or carried by birds, rapidly transforming the volcanic soil into a small, thriving ecosystem. Intriguingly, access to the island is forbidden, preserving it as one of Earth's most isolated laboratories for understanding life's ability to conquer new territories. However, some claim there's more to this island than mere ecological wonders. Occasional unexplained sightings have sparked whispers among fishermen who pass near its shores. Unusual lights rising from its volcanic craters and fleeting shapes moving across its empty beaches at dusk. Though scientists dismiss such reports, Surtsey continues to inspire curiosity and speculation, standing quietly in the cold North Atlantic, hiding secrets as nature gradually claims this newly born island. Leaving behind Iceland's remote volcanic shores, we journey toward Madagascar's western edge to encounter one of the planet's strangest geological wonders, the Tsingy de Bemaraha. This immense stone labyrinth, carved by millions of years of erosion, consists of thousands of razor-sharp limestone pinnacles towering hundreds of feet into the sky. Locals named these formations Tsingy, meaning where one cannot walk barefoot, describing the landscape's incredibly sharp and inhospitable terrain. Hidden among these spikes are deep canyons, caves, and lush forests, where species isolated for thousands of years have evolved separately from the outside world. Rare lemurs leap cautiously among jagged edges, reptiles blend invisibly into the rocks, and unseen caves might conceal undiscovered fossils or forgotten relics. Visitors who navigate the labyrinth tell of eerie echoes, strange winds whispering through rocky crevices, and the unsettling feeling of being watched. Still, much of Tsingy de Bemaraha remains inaccessible to humans, silently protecting secrets within its stony heart. Welcome to one of the strangest and most unforgiving places on Earth, Dallol, Ethiopia. From above it looks like a surreal painting. Pools of acid shimmer in neon green, Mineral towers rise like coral from dry land, and steam constantly hisses from cracks in the ground. But don't be fooled by the beauty. This place is Earth's pressure cooker. Located in the Danakil Depression, Dallol sits more than 400 feet below sea level, and holds the record for the highest average temperature ever recorded in an inhabited location. We're talking about a place where the average daily temperature hovers around 94 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Not the summer high, the average. Day or night, it's like standing next to a jet engine. Your skin stings, your sweat dries before it forms, and the air feels heavy with sulfur and heat. And it's not just hot. Dallol is alive. Acidic springs bubble up from the earth. The ground crackles beneath your feet. The vibrant colors, yellows, greens, reds, come from minerals that would be toxic in most other environments. Touching the water here isn't refreshing, it's dangerous. The pH of some pools is nearly that of battery acid. Breathing in the air for too long, it can irritate your lungs. This isn't a place for a hike. It's more like stepping into a sci-fi movie set on another planet. And yet, there was once a small settlement here. In the early 1900s, people came looking for potash, a valuable mineral used in fertilizer. They built huts, worked under the blistering sun, and tried to tame one of the world's wildest spots. But nature doesn't play fair in Dallol. The settlement was abandoned, and today, the wooden remnants of those buildings sit warped and baked, like forgotten relics in a kiln. Dallol doesn't just challenge human endurance, it rewrites the rules of how Earth can look. NASA has studied it to understand what life might be like on other planets. Scientists compare its chemistry to that of Mars, and even some of Jupiter's moons, so when someone says, "It's hot today," they've clearly never been here. Now from one of the driest and hottest places on Earth, let's take you somewhere completely different. Mawsynram, a small village tucked into the hills of northeastern India. Here, rain isn't just part of life, it is life. This region gets over 467 inches of rain every single year. That's more than 10 times the annual rainfall of New York City. And when it rains here, it doesn't just drizzle, it pours. Sheets of water fall from the sky for days, sometimes weeks without a break. People in Mawsynram have adapted in clever ways. Houses are built with thick slanted rooftops made of dense grass to muffle the sound of the rain. Children use massive banana leaves as umbrellas. And forget regular umbrellas, they don't stand a chance. During the peak of the monsoon season, locals barely see the sky for months. Roads flood, rivers swell, and fog rolls in so thick you can't see 10 feet ahead. What makes it rain so much here? It's all about geography. Mawsynram sits right at the edge of the Meghalaya Plateau, directly in the path of warm, moisture-heavy air coming from the Bay of Bengal. As that air slams into the mountains, it rises, cools, and unleashes torrents of rain in concentrated bursts. It's a natural setup for non-stop downpours. The result? A village that lives inside a cloud for much of the year. And the strangest part? The surrounding region can be bone dry just miles away. It's like Mawsynram was handpicked by the sky to be Earth's ultimate rain collector. Now shift your focus to Greenland, where weather doesn't just change, it whiplashes. At Summit Camp, a remote research station sitting over 10,000 feet above sea level on the Greenland ice sheet, scientists have witnessed some of the fastest and most extreme temperature swings ever recorded in the Arctic. In just a matter of hours, temperatures here have jumped by over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, going from extreme sub-zero cold to sudden near freezing. That might sound mild compared to the extremes elsewhere, but in the Arctic, that kind of jump is massive. It's like going from deep freeze to spring in a single afternoon, only without the flowers. These shifts are tied to strange polar weather events, including rare atmospheric rivers, huge bands of warm air and moisture that sweep in unexpectedly. One of the most shocking incidents happened recently when rain, not snow, fell at the camp for the very first time. This isn't some coastal village, this is the top of Greenland. Rain here was unthinkable until it wasn't. The camp itself is a handful of tents and research shelters sitting on a sheet of ice 2 miles thick. Scientists live and work here, tracking the climate, ice melt, and weather patterns that could reshape coastlines worldwide. Every gust of wind, every unexpected warm snap tells a story about a planet in flux. Summit Camp is quiet, white, and vast, but beneath the silence is movement, rapid, wild, unpredictable. Weather here doesn't follow rules, it rewrites them. If you've ever complained about winter, you might want to skip a trip to Oymyakon. This tiny village in northeastern Siberia holds the unofficial title of the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. How cold? Try 90 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. That's the kind of cold where eyelashes freeze together and your breath turns to ice crystals in front of your face. Despite this, Oymyakon is home to a few hundred people who live and work here year-round. Schools only close when temperatures dip below 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Locals drive their cars all day because turning off the engine means it might never start again. Pipes freeze underground, so outhouses are standard. It's not unusual to see someone walking down the road in a fur coat layered over another fur coat, with frost building up on their eyelashes. Why does it get so cold? Oymyakon sits in a basin surrounded by mountains that trap cold air like a freezer with the lid shut. Clear skies and still winds let the temperature plummet night after night without interruption. There's no Gulf Stream to warm things up, no major cities nearby, just vast Siberian emptiness that stretches for hundreds of miles. Yet people here don't just survive, they've adapted. Diets are rich in meat and fat, mostly from reindeer and horse. There's no agriculture, so everything has to be preserved or imported. Even cell phones can freeze and shut down after a few minutes outdoors. Oymyakon doesn't pretend to be comfortable, but it's real, it's rugged, and it offers a glimpse into how far human endurance can go when life is built around surviving the coldest that Earth can throw at you. Every night, without warning, the skies above Lake Maracaibo explode with light, not from fireworks or city lights, but from nature's own electrical show. This region in Venezuela sees lightning so often, it holds a world record. At its peak, there can be over 280 lightning strikes per hour. That's more than 4 strikes every second, no exaggeration. Locals call it Relampago del Catatumbo, or the Catatumbo lightning. It happens near the mouth of the Catatumbo River, where warm, humid air from the Caribbean meets cold winds from the Andes Mountains. That clash creates perfect conditions for non-stop lightning storms, especially at night. And it doesn't just happen in the rainy season. This natural light show appears nearly 300 nights a year, often lasting for 10 hours straight. From afar, it looks like a silent disco in the sky. Brilliant flashes lighting up the clouds, reflecting on the water and illuminating everything in sight. No thunder reaches most observers, just pure light. Pilots once used it as a natural lighthouse to navigate the skies. And it's visible for miles, even from planes flying high above the country. What's even more surprising is that scientists are still studying why this exact spot produces such consistent lightning. The geography, the humidity, the topography, it all lines up to turn this lake into Earth's most electrified hotspot. And yet people live here. They fish, they work, they sleep through the lightning as if it's a lullaby. For them, the storms are just part of life, normal, even comforting. But for the rest of the world, Maracaibo is a living science experiment, a place where the sky never fully goes dark. Antarctica might be covered in ice, but there's a place within it where not a single snowflake falls for years or even centuries. Welcome to the McMurdo Dry Valleys, a frozen wasteland that breaks all expectations. No sand dunes, no cactus, but this is a true desert, by definition and by feel. It's one of the driest places on Earth, receiving less than 0.2 inches of precipitation per year. Now, here's the twist. This desert sits in the coldest region on the planet. Surrounded by glaciers, the dry valleys are almost completely ice-free. Powerful katabatic winds race down the mountains at over 200 miles per hour, so strong they evaporate any moisture before it can settle. Snow can fall, but it doesn't stick around. It gets blasted into the air and disappears, leaving behind nothing but exposed rock and lifeless ground. Walking through the McMurdo Dry Valleys feels like stepping onto Mars. The soil is dry, cracked, and rust-colored. No trees, no grass, barely any visible life. Even bacteria struggle to survive. But strangely enough, scientists have discovered some of the most ancient microbial life forms hiding beneath the rocks or deep in the ice-covered lakes. That's why NASA and other space agencies study this place. It mimics the surface of Mars better than anywhere else on Earth. These valleys are so remote and so untouched, you can look around and know almost nothing has changed for millions of years. There are no towns, no stations, no roads, just cold silence, no wildlife, no birds overhead. Even Antarctica's famous penguins don't come here. McMurdo Dry Valleys are nature's paradox, a bone-dry desert sitting inside a frozen continent. They reveal a side of Antarctica that most people never imagine, a place where water is rarer than ice, and silence is absolute. In the heart of the Sahara, there's a place where the sun scorches by day and the chill bites by night. Welcome to Aoulef, a remote town in southern Algeria that ranks among the hottest places on the planet. Temperatures regularly soar beyond 124 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun beats down on the sand with such intensity, locals say walking barefoot outdoors can cook the soles of your feet in seconds. What makes Aoulef especially extreme isn't just the heat, it's the wild temperature swings. By night, the same air that baked the desert drops to surprisingly cold levels, sometimes approaching 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's an 80-degree swing in just a few hours. The dry desert air can't hold heat, so when the sun disappears, so does the warmth. There's almost no shade here, no trees, no tall buildings, just sand, stone, and sun. Streets in Aoulef are often empty during the hottest parts of the day. Locals stay indoors, windows shuttered, waiting until evening when the air cools enough to breathe without effort. It's a life built around the rhythm of extreme weather. Sleep when it burns, move when it chills. The Sahara itself is already legendary, but Aoulef takes it up a notch. Sandstorms can roll in with no warning, blotting out the horizon like a wall of smoke. The sky turns orange, visibility drops to a few feet, and when the wind dies down, all that's left is silence and heat rising from the dunes. Despite all this, people live here. Markets open after sunset, kids play under the stars. And water? It comes from deep underground, carefully drawn and used sparingly. Aoulef is proof that even in one of Earth's harshest environments, life can take hold and thrive in its own rhythm. If Earth has a furnace, it's right here in Iran's Lut Desert. This vast, uninhabitable landscape holds the record for the hottest surface temperature ever recorded on the planet. A blistering 199.6 degrees Fahrenheit, measured by satellite. That's not the air temperature, that's the actual ground. Step barefoot on it, and you wouldn't last more than a second. Locally known as Dashti Lut, this desert doesn't just get hot, it stays hot. For years it topped global heat charts as the planet's scorching champion. And it's not hard to see why. The terrain is made of dark volcanic rock and sand, which absorb and trap heat like a blacksmith's forge. Clouds are rare, rain is practically non-existent, and not a single permanent settlement exists within the core of the desert. You won't find much wildlife here. No reptiles, no bugs, no birds. It's so dry and so hot, not even bacteria can survive in some parts. It's a natural oven where life hits a hard stop. But what you will find are some of the most otherworldly landscapes on Earth. Wind-carved ridges, sharp rock towers, and endless fields of sand dunes that look like the surface of another planet. NASA uses images of this place to test instruments for future Mars missions, and it makes sense. The Lut Desert looks alien, feels unlivable, and behaves in ways that baffle even seasoned scientists. One area known as Gandum Barian, or toasted wheat, got its name after a load of grain was accidentally left there and was later found completely scorched. Yet for all its extremes, the desert is mesmerizing. Waves of sand stretch across the horizon, interrupted only by strange, jagged formations rising from the heat. There's no silence quite like it, no heat that compares. The Lut doesn't just challenge records, it defines them. In the northeastern United States, far from deserts and polar extremes, there's a peak with a reputation that rivals the world's harshest environments. Mount Washington, standing just over 6,000 feet tall in New Hampshire, might not seem intimidating until you reach the summit. Up here, the weather changes in minutes, and the wind, it doesn't whisper, it roars. This mountain once held the world record for the fastest wind gust ever recorded on land, an astonishing 231 miles per hour. That's stronger than most tornadoes. People say being up there during a storm feels like standing behind a jet engine. Even on a clear day, the wind can knock you off your feet, and wind chills plunge well below zero. What causes such madness? It's all about location. Mount Washington sits at the convergence of several major storm tracks, and its shape funnels air upward at incredible speeds. It's like nature designed the mountain specifically to bottle up the atmosphere's chaos and unleash it at the summit. The Mount Washington Observatory is perched right at the top. Researchers live there for weeks at a time, tracking the wind, snow, and cold. They've had to chain down their equipment. Doors are built to open inward only, otherwise they'd blow off. There are days when you can't even go outside without climbing gear, not because you're scaling cliffs, but because the wind could literally throw you down the mountain. This isn't just some winter phenomenon either. Mount Washington's weather is wild all year. It can be sunny and calm at the base while the summit is getting battered by hurricane-force winds and zero visibility. Tourists often visit in summer lured by its views, but even then, it can snow. A clear morning can turn into a whiteout by lunch. That unpredictability is part of the mountain's legend, and why it's earned the nickname home of the world's worst weather. If you're looking for rain in Chile's Atacama Desert, you might be waiting a lifetime. Some parts of this desert haven't seen a single drop in hundreds of years. Welcome to Earth's driest non-polar desert, where the landscape looks more like Mars than anything else on the planet. Seriously, NASA tested its Mars rovers here before sending them off-world. Located along the Pacific coast and flanked by the Andes Mountains, the Atacama is locked in a dry zone. The cold Humboldt Current chills the air coming off the ocean, preventing moisture from forming. At the same time, the towering Andes block any wet air coming from the east. The result? A near-total rain shadow that leaves entire regions in a permanent drought. The ground is cracked and crusted with salt. Valleys are littered with strange rock formations and colorful minerals that haven't eroded in centuries. There are places where scientists have never detected any microbial life in the soil, something almost unheard of on Earth. And yet, scattered across the desert are small towns, observatories, and even ancient geoglyphs carved into the hillsides. It's also a haven for stargazers. With no clouds, no humidity, and almost no light pollution, the skies above the Atacama are among the clearest in the world. Telescopes perched high in the mountains collect data on distant galaxies, all from this lifeless, sun-baked terrain. Despite the lifeless look, life does exist here, just barely. You'll find resilient species of lichen, cacti, and flamingos that thrive near rare water sources. The Atacama isn't just dry, it's extreme in every sense, a place where survival feels more like persistence and silence runs deep into the rocks. In America's northernmost town, the sun says goodbye, and doesn't come back for over 2 months. Barrow, officially known as Utqiagvik, sits above the Arctic Circle, and every winter it slips into total darkness for around 65 days. No sunrise, no daylight, just a long, frozen night. When the sun sets in November, it doesn't just dip below the horizon, it disappears completely. The sky turns deep blue, then black, broken only by stars, the moon, and the soft glow of the northern lights. For newcomers, the endless night is surreal. Streetlights stay on all day, and time starts to feel like a suggestion rather than a schedule. The cold here is sharp and constant, with temperatures regularly below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind howls in from the sea and thick ice locks up the coastline. Even during daylight months, Barrow's climate remains brutally cold. But it's the darkness that defines the town's identity. Yet Utqiagvik is no ghost town. Roughly 4,500 residents live here, many from Inupiat families who've been in the region for generations. They've built homes and communities that adapt to the rhythm of polar extremes. People go to school, work, shop, all under a sky that forgets to rise. And when the sun finally returns in late January, it's a celebration. Not just for the warmth, but for the light. It peaks above the horizon, low and golden, casting long shadows across the frozen ground. Then, each day grows longer, leading into a summer where the sun never sets at all. In Utqiagvik, the contrast between extremes isn't just a weather pattern, it's a way of life. There's hot, and then there's Death Valley hot. Tucked into eastern California, this sun-scorched basin isn't just a summer inconvenience. It holds the record for the hottest air temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, measured at Furnace Creek. That's hot enough to cook eggs on the pavement and melt plastic car trim. Even on an average summer day, highs reach well above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Death Valley sits more than 280 feet below sea level, surrounded by tall mountain ranges that trap heat like a giant natural oven. The sun beats down relentlessly, and the dry, rocky ground reflects the heat right back into the air. There's almost no humidity to soften the blow, it's just raw, unfiltered heat that seems to press down on you from all sides, and yet the landscape is stunning. Rolling sand dunes shimmer in the distance. Salt flats stretch endlessly like a frozen ocean made of white crystal. Colorful canyons and jagged rocks twist through the valley, shaped over millions of years by wind and water that rarely shows up anymore. There's even a place called Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America. Incredibly, life still finds a way. Desert bighorn sheep navigate the cliffs, coyotes trot along the roadsides, and when a rare rainstorm hits, the valley erupts with wildflowers in what locals call a super bloom, a brief but vivid display that turns the desert floor into a living carpet. Tourists from all over the world come to experience the extremes here. Some stay just long enough to snap a photo at the Furnace Creek thermometer before rushing back to their air-conditioned cars. But for those who linger, Death Valley offers something more. The feeling of standing in a place where Earth turns up the dial and shows what it's really capable of. We've traveled through blazing deserts, freezing plains, and lightning-filled skies, but now we end in a place where the weather doesn't change, because it never has to. Welcome to Puerto Lopez, a peaceful fishing town on Ecuador's Pacific coast, where seasons don't exist the way most people know them. Here, the temperature floats steadily around 77 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, all year long. No snow, no sweltering heat waves, no frost on windows or piles of fallen leaves, just a soft breeze, warm sun, and steady rhythm. Locals say time feels slower here, and it's easy to see why. Without seasons to mark the calendar, every day feels like a long, quiet weekend. This weather magic happens thanks to Puerto Lopez's spot right on the equator and near the Pacific Ocean. Warm ocean currents keep the air mild, while the sea moderates the heat. Rain comes in short bursts during the wet season, but the shifts are gentle. There's no brutal summer or icy winter knocking at the door. But just because the weather is predictable doesn't mean the place is boring. Every year, humpback whales migrate just off the coast, drawing visitors from around the world. The nearby Makalila National Park blends dry forests, coastal cliffs, and coral-filled waters. It's one of the few places where you can walk through jungle trails and then dive into crystal-clear waves within the same hour. Locals plan their lives by tides, not temperatures. There's no rush to check the forecast, it's always just nice. That consistency gives Puerto Lopez its charm. It's not extreme in the way of heat records or wind speeds. Its extreme is how unchanging and peaceful it stays, in a world where weather usually takes center stage. And maybe, in the end, that's the biggest twist of all. Among the most dramatic climates on Earth, this small coastal town stands out by simply staying perfectly the same. That's about it. Which of these places would you like to visit? Let me know in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.